morning, all. Good morning. GCC Summit from Leisure to Global Leadership. CA Saving Global Capability Center. We know we CA are at everywhere and CA means can do anything. But now we are not only the back office of India,
Recording
but
in progress.
also a global capability center for the world. For this thing, with the kickstart of the event, I request respected CA Vishal Doshi sir, CCM, Mr. Jangoo Dalal sir, co-founder and CEO of ESG, CA Kamal Chhabra sir, founder and CEO of KC Globe Ed, and CA G.C.Misra sir, to please come on a dais. Have a big round of applause for them. Requesting respected CA Vishal Doshi sir, CCM from Baroda, to please give his opening remarks. Have a big round of applause for Vishal Doshi sir.
A very good morning to everybody. This is the opening over of this two-day match, I would say. So at the outset, I would like to welcome all of you to this two-day GCC Summit, the second edition. And I would like to extend my heartfelt compliments to CA Sanjeev Sanghi, the convener of the GCC group, CA Abhay Chhajer, the deputy convener of the GCC group at the ICI. And of course, we would like to compliment our leadership, the president ICI, who is giving a lot of importance, I would say a lot of time for these areas of GCC, AI and others, where there can be a lot of professional opportunities, and we are having a lot of these events across the country. In absentia, definitely a lot of hard work has been put by our own, I would say our own CCM, CA Purushottam Bhai, who would be joining us very shortly. He is in the arrangements and the organization. Nirav Bhai, compliments to you and your entire team, the host branch, Ahmedabad branch, as well as Romil Bhai of the Gandhinagar branch. Friends, on the dais, we have Mr. Jangoo Dalal ji, who is the co-founder and CEO of ESG Global GOV EVA, CA Kamal Chhabra ji, who is the founder and CEO of KC Global Ed, and of course, with the initial G.C.Misra ji, our council colleague Gyanchand Mishra ji. So friends, the first session that we have today is on global strengthening financial reporting in GCCs through CA leadership. Historically, if we look, GCCs basically started more as a cost arbitrage hubs, because the labor was cheaper in India, and therefore a lot of these GCCs started developing as a cost arbitrage hubs. But over a period, if we see, now GCCs are becoming strategic partners, delivering finance, risk, and compliance capabilities. If we look at the global businesses and relate that with GCCs, there are a lot of challenges that global businesses face, and especially when we talk of the financial reporting, with respect to the gaps, the accounting practices, we have the IFRSs, we have the, I would say the Indian gap, we have the US gap, we have country-specific local gaps. When we talk of global businesses, again, there are multiple entities spread across jurisdictions, and one of the challenges that they face is definitely on the consolidation with different currencies, different time zones. And last but not the least, with the increasing trend of the non-financial reporting, that is the integrated reporting, the ESG. So, these are the challenges which the global businesses face. Welcome, Purushottam Bhai, for... So how would CA leadership, honestly, if you look at chartered accountants, if you look at our course curriculum, what we have gone through, we have definitely, we do study the IFRSs, we do study a lot on the ethics. And if you ask me, as a chartered accountant, the CA leadership, this harmonization of all the challenges through our technical expertise, our ethical grounding, and the global outlook, we would be able to do a lot of standardization and harmonization with respect to the global reporting templates, because like we said that there are multiple jurisdictions, multiple currencies, multiple gaps, and because of our knowledge of the accounting practices across the world, we would be able to develop a lot of reporting templates, reducing the need for reconciliation also amongst the various entities as part of our financial reporting practices through the GCCs. On the governance and assurance also, I believe that we because of our knowledge of the robust internal controls, there would be a lot of checks and balances that would be put up in the overall procedure, and the audits of the GCCs itself would take the next leap. And definitely on the future-ready reporting, by implementing a lot of AI tools with respect to ESG and other integrated financial reporting, by which the real-time information would get accessible to all the global businesses. Amongst the emerging areas, I would say for GCCs under especially CA leadership, the topic that is there in this session, I very strongly believe that what we would require is a digital transformation, talent development, and trust stakeholders. We do have the experts over here who would be taking us, guiding us through all these aspects of the financial reporting and how through CA leadership we would be able to achieve the GCC. But one thing to conclude my opening remarks, I would say that GCCs are the backbone of global reporting integrity, and as CAs, we are in an excellent position of diversifying our practice into GCCs. So with this, once again, thank you, and thanks to all of you for registering and participating in this 2-day GCC event. I wish you a very happy learning over the next 2 days. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vishal sir, for opening remarks for the session. And when you're talking about a session, it's global strengthening, financial reporting framework in GCC through CA leadership. When we're talking about the same, we have with us our 2 special panelists, that is CA Kamal Chhabra sir and Mr. Jangoo Dalal sir. Mr. Jangoo Dalal is the co-founder and CEO of Go Viva, a pioneering digital platform that drives measurable and sustainable outcomes through ESG-based practices for corporates, boards, and investors. With over 30 years of leadership in the technology sector, he has successfully led and transformed global businesses at Cisco, Avaya, D-Link, and Wipro. Holding global ESG board designations, he also serves as an independent director, consultant, and mentor, passionately leveraging technology to create social and environmental impact. With this special intro, I request Vishal Doshi sir and G.C.Misra sir to please felicitate the faculty for the day. It is my honor to even introduce another faculty for the day, CA Kamal Chhabra sir, founder and CEO of KC Global, a global platform for professional education, a PhD in global finance education from USA. He is an expert of international taxation, finance, and accounting. With 2 decades of experience, he has trained thousands of candidates and professionals in more than 128 countries worldwide, bridging global qualifications with practical insights. He is also the author of 11 professional books on CPA, CMA, US taxation, and furthermore, contributing significantly to global financial education and professional growth in building our nation. With this introduction, have a big round of applause for both the faculties. I request our respected dignitaries to please take the session forward. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. Welcome to this wonderful session. First and foremost, a big thank you to the organizing committee and all the senior chartered accountant community which has brought this together. It's indeed a pleasure and a privilege for me to be among the opening speakers this morning. And before I start my formal presentation, which will take about 15 minutes, I will just tell you what ran through my mind when I was coming into GIFT City today morning. I flew in from Mumbai, where I stay for the last 10 years. I've been around different parts of the world. In the year 2007 and 8, and I was coming to the end of my 10-year stint at Cisco. And that time, I had the opportunity to come down to Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar, and meet with some of the people who are deciding policy. And as early as 2007 or 8, our Honorable Prime Minister, who was then the boss of Gujarat, had dreamt and envisioned GIFT City. As we all know, it then came to fruition, and the original inauguration happened in 2015. So, I have seen this journey over the last 17, 18 years of GIFT City, and I'm sure a lot of you are from this part of the world, Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar. You must have seen this. This was like a jungle 15 years back or even 10 years back. But slowly, one man's vision, our beloved Prime Minister's vision, today when you come into GIFT City, you feel extremely proud, don't we? How many of you came in this morning in your cars, vehicles, Uber, Ola, and there was a sense of pride in your chest? All of us, right? If you think about it, it started with one man's vision. And I would like to take the next 15, 20 minutes without being very bombastic or taking over your shoes to envisage a future vision for chartered accountants. What I think, what I see is happening over the last 30-odd years that I have been in the corporate world, etc. Incidentally, when I was at Cisco, I set up what was that time one of India's first GCC in Bangalore. So I have been through this journey. I have been on the other side. We started with one person coming down. He was a Gujubai actually. He came down from San Francisco, where our head office was, set up a small table in a business center. And today I think there are about 25 to 30,000 people working in the GCC of Cisco. So I have seen that journey from the other side. I know the power of it. I know how it has evolved. And don't think of GCCs as a building with some people. Actually, if you aggregate all the GCCs of India, they represent corporate world of the entire planet of the world. Because any or big multinational or company has a GCC here, a lot of intelligent work gets done over here, and they are corporate world sitting in different parts of India. So again, when I was on the flight yesterday, I had a very smart and intelligent lady sitting next to me, and we had a long time to chat because my flight didn't land in Ahmedabad. You had a lot of varsad yesterday. So I was taken to Jaipur and brought back. She was a senior VP in a very large Indian conglomerate. So she was asking what you're doing, what I am doing. So I asked her, and I then created this slide on the flight itself. I asked her, what comes to your mind? She's a senior VP of a very large conglomerate. What comes to your mind when you think of chartered accountant? So first she started with P&L, then she said balance sheet. I said, that's all. She said audit and assurance, compliance and control, regulations, tax, advisory, merger advisory, all kinds of things. This is what people think of us in the corporate world. My aim over the next 10-15 minutes to you would be that at the end of 10-15 minutes, I can get you to go away with these 4 letters, VACA, which we'll come to towards the end of this session. You may guess yourselves, I would have done my job this morning. So this is what we'll try and cover today very quickly. Now, if you think about the GCC opportunity, and I'm sure you're going to hear a lot of numbers between today and tomorrow evening, you'll get bored of those numbers and wonder which number is correct. But I thought, let me share with you this one thing, which is the multiple slide. Don't think of GCCs as creating 76 billion or you reach somewhere 64 billion by NASSCOM. These numbers don't matter. They are all in the 65, 70, 75 range. But the multiplier effect, the total output of this translates to almost 3 times, $240 billion. for every one person who's sitting in a GCC working behind a computer, there's a lot of allied industry which is happening. Entire townships are coming up in Bangalore, Electronic City, Hyderabad, High-Tech City, Apna, Gift City. All of that around this whole concept of 1, 2, 3 people sitting behind a computer, they in turn are driving 5 times different jobs. Correct? So think of GCC not as the GVA of about 68 billion, but the total GVA of 182 billion. Anybody wants to guess what is the last recorded population of Ahmedabad? Any guesses? 80 lakhs? Correct, sir. May Google kairu and it came to around 85-90 lakhs. If you think of all the jobs, which is GCC, it is slightly more than our Ahmedabad. So think of this as the world represented here. The aggregation is a town and a city. Think of the opportunity. And what I've written below, you can accentuate and multiply this multiplier even further. So what is happening in the GCC world? As Kushal Bhai said, if you want to be in GCC, they are operating in India, but their head office, their reporting branch where the balance sheets are made is somewhere else in the world. So by its very nature, it is multi-framework accounting reporting, correct? Again, these are all very technology-led people. GCC is working on technology. They are going to and they are embracing technology. You cannot go to GCC and say, bhai, mare, give me a tally ka access. They'll have sophisticated systems. They are global companies. From Europe, you have the Mercedes-Benzes, the L'Oreals, you name it, they are here. From US, from Wells Fargo to Citibank to Walmart, everybody is here. Any part of the world, someone or the other is here. And these are all leading companies. Even more leading companies will come to our Gift City because they are at the forefront of finance. They are not going to use our standard stuff even when you think of digital. They are going to be at the forefront. What that means is, as a community, we have to be aware and be very, very convergent of it. Kushal Bhai rightly mentioned, and this is my business at Gaviva also now for the last 5-6 years. Reporting is gone beyond financial metrics. We are seeing repeatedly many of our clients when they are raising funds, whether it is debt or equity, or if they are global companies, or if they are part of global supply chain, they are today getting evaluated on much more than financial metrics. If you look at one of our largest PSU banks, State Bank of India, not one of, the largest PSU bank. Today I was speaking, not today, about a couple weeks back to one of the MDs, and SBI has many MDs, you know. He was telling me that now, from April 1, 2025 onwards, any corporate loan about 200 crores, the evaluation is not done on just the original parameters. Project feasibility, ROI, ROE, ROEC, no. There is a team and there is almost 30% weightage given to ESG metrics. Think of it, PSU bank giving loans to corporate India, and a 200 crore from a corporate India point of view is a pretty low bar actually. And that is going to trickle down. I deal with many clients who are in global supply chain. Auto component manufacturers, chemical manufacturers. We have some wonderful clients in Gandhinagar who are in hardcore engineering. They are supplying globally. They cannot exist, even talk to their buyers without ESG metrics. And the same phenomenon is happening in ESG. And then, and I will talk about this a little more, because financial and non-financial metrics are becoming important, these two standards are also merging. We are all accounting community. All of you familiar with IFRS? Correct? Why did IFRS start? Some 30-40 years back, sir? 2011, India mein wo, nahi pehle, hai? What was their objective? Before IFRS, there were multiple reporting frameworks. World is getting more and more one. You cannot have this. How do I see what this GCC is doing if I do report only Indus and not US GAAP? And US something else, something else. So the whole objective of IFRS was to harmonize. And they use the word harmonize, not merge or make simple, same. Harmonize accounting standards. Last 2 years back, in 2003, IFRS, the UK body, they created a separate sub-body called the ISSB, International Sustainability Standards Board. And they have now been mandated कि भाई आपने जो accounting में किया, please do it in ESG. So think about it, friends. What is driving our business globally is IFRS. IFRS now has ISSB, which is about harmonizing global reporting ESG standards. Because the ESG world also, Europe, America, India has its BRSR, many standards are there. They're all coming together. I read a report, my co-founder and partner Shailesh Haribhakti, some of you might have heard of him, he's a renowned chartered accountant like all of you here. He's on the ISSB committee in London, he had gone there. He was telling me they showed a chart over there that for harmonization of financial accounting, if the graph was going like this, for ESG the graph is moving 2x faster. That means the world is becoming very, very conscious about it. Now, why is ESG becoming important? This is a study put together by PwC, EY and many others. We are all chartered accountants, we like numbers. Whichever number you look at it, and some of these look very astounding, 80%, 88%. But these are real numbers. I have seen it in my journey with some of my clients. End of the day, all of us want, what does a businessman want? Return on his equity. Comprehensive studies have shown you can get as high as 7% point more. Now when you're talking to GCC also, they came for cost, they have stayed for quality, they have stayed for trust. They also want to marry this because their parents are doing this big time. So when it comes to ESG, for our space which we are talking today and tomorrow, GCCs, Global Capability Center, what does it mean? Environment, social governance, today is a highly metric, numeric, auditable business. All of you are aware, SEBI wants our top 1,000 companies to do the BRSR. For year ending March 25, they have to not only report their numbers, but they have to report 30 important metrics for their value chain downstream and upstream. So people are still figuring out what is my carbon footprint. Now if I am Mahindra, the people who are supplying me tire, brake, alloy, steel, I have to figure what they are also doing. Put it in my BRSR, which goes in my annual report. And by the way, if I am part of the top 250, my BRSR now has to be audited and assured. Isn't there an opportunity for all of us? Who knows audit and assurance better than us? Correct? You speak to people at SEBI. My other co-founder is a gentleman called Mr. G.N. Bajpai. He used to be the chairman of SEBI for a very long time. We speak to them often. Ministry of Corporate Affairs through SEBI is very clear. ESG, BRSR journey is not going slow or backward. Forget backward, not going to slow down. They want all listed companies, including the BSE list, not just the NSE list, to be doing this. Some of you are interested. There was a parliamentary committee on finance which just came out with a report last month. That report, across members from both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, runs into about 30 pages. It's about everything to do with finance. You can lay your hands. I'm sure all of you must have already seen it. You are professionals in this field. Out of that 30 pages, 6 pages are on ESG, and now government is going to put monitoring agency, mandatory agency. Monitoring, mandatory, where do great opportunity for people like us. So what is our role as CAs? If we are going beyond financials and just only financials to ESG and sustainability, we have to start being aware. And as the world wants this integrated reporting, this is our opportunity. A lot of what we are doing today in terms of the basic job, if all of you have started using ChatGPT, which I'm sure you have, you think of it when it is applied to our profession, some of the basic work is going to grow. But judgment, ethics, overall reporting is still something which we as CAs have to do. Last but not the least, when it comes to GCCs, as Kushal bhai said, they came for cost, they stayed for quality. But most important, if I am a Wall Street company, Wells Fargo, Citibank, Mercedes-Benz, name the brand. If I am getting work done in India, one of the things I want is that I should be able to trust. હું બધું કામ અહીં કરાવું છું. If I don't have trust, which is then being stamped by an assurer, auditor, it is a big problem. So this, again, is a big, big opportunity for us in GCCs. So I'll just quickly wind up. These are some of the things we have to start thinking about. There are multi-frameworks, not just for financial numbers, but also ESG, multi-jurisdictions. It is our job to harmonize and create a single version of truth, which the bosses of GCC sitting everywhere in the world can trust. In this world where everything is getting very digital, so many risks are there, controls and processes, lot of IP is residing in these GCCs. People want us to put this in place. This is, of course, a given. And finally, governance, risk management, assurance, readiness, not just financial, but beyond. And last but not least, technology. My humble appeal to all of you, I'm sure all of you are using ChatGPT. You have seen its power from even silly things like creating birthday card to complex financial statements now. I have seen a lot of this year's annual reports, etc., where people who are doing a big job, 10 lakh, 5 lakh, 15 lakh, 20 lakh, to create all these speeches in annual reports, it's all getting done in AI ChatGPT, who is writing very beautifully. So let us embrace it. So I will leave you with this thought, whether it's GCCs or anything, especially for GCCs, everything is lying in these centers for those global owners. And then what is important is trust. What does CA bring to the table is trust. So then I will just end my session with what I started off. Modi ji's vision, created GIFT City. I hope I have kindled some interest in you to start thinking of yourselves as value-added, value-accretive chartered accountants by embracing much more than our regular work, which that co-passenger of mine last night was talking about. I'll just take a minute to talk about the company which I represent. That's myself, that's Shailesh Bhai. A lot of you might be familiar with him, and then there's Mr. Bajpai. So thank you very much. I hope I have kindled some interest and wish you a good 2 days ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Jangoo sir, for guiding us all about ESG, sustainability, and much more. Now I request quickly Kamal Chhabra sir to please guide the members way forward.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah. Thanks for inviting me all the way from Delhi to here to set the context of very first session. And really thanks to CA Charanjot Singh Nanda sir, who has invited me here. And special thanks to Gyan sir and Sanjeev Singhal sir for inviting me over here to share my thoughts on this GCC conclave or summit which we are planning to do. And nicely, Vishal sir has already, Dalal sir has already shared or set the expectation, or you can say tone. So the key responsibility on the first panelist, we all of us have to set the tone for this summit. And we'll make sure like we are doing justice to it, and it's being an informative session for each one of us over here. You know, like I see the world quite differently, being a creator, being an innovator, being a, looking the way differently to create the things which is being required for the future of finance. And I'm sure this session, next 10, 15, 20 minutes, which we are going to invest together, would be an informative for each one of us to see what are the more possibilities in future for us for the GCC, in addition to centering the GCC framework overall what we are thinking about. So what I have done, I have not created any PPT, to be very honest with you. So created small notes to set up my context and share my thoughts in 4-dimensional, or I would say in the 4-pointer in a simple word. First, how the GCC has evolved over the period of time. Back in 2000, I would say the initially, many of the Western world companies or the bigger organization have came over here, like Mr. Dalal said, to save the cost for the cost arbitrage, right? And then they stay for the quality. If you see, back in 2000, initially they come up with a lot of call centers, a lot of BPOs, a lot of, slowly, gradually, a couple of KPO have started. Then after, if you see, this new GCC in finance domain has started emerging back in 2005, when I think Deloitte has set up first USI, right? And a couple of other big MNC have set up their offshore accounting and a couple of payroll and a couple of other processes over here. And that has helped engage a lot of chartered accountant, have catch the eye of a lot of chartered accountant to start working in that direction. Now, after that, if you see back in 2010 or in the era of 2005 to 10, so initially, it was more of tick and tie factory, more of basic accounting, more of, basic work on the financial statement or, the audit and assurance side of it. But slowly and gradually, if you see in the era of 2010 to 15, it has been further evolved as a center of excellence. A lot of companies have set up their center of excellence, especially when new accounting standards were emerging. A lot of new IFRS were coming, a lot of new US GAAP were coming, like ASC 606, ASC 842, ASC 326. A lot of companies have set up their center of excellence over here in India. And we all, like most of the chartered accountant, has taken the solid responsibility in implementation of whether the IFRS, whether the implementation of US GAAP, and parallelly, we have also strengthened our framework coming up with the new NDS kind of thing, right? We stand alone with the world, how the world is overall evolving, and we have also evolved our financial accounting framework to meet those expectations. So that's great kudos and the great support or great thanks to Institute of Chartered Accountant, all the governing member and the council member who has taken that a great step at the right time so that nowadays, if you see, the overall transparency, consistency which we maintain in financial statement is at par with the world. And slowly, gradually, like we were discussing earlier, a lot of the organization or, how this IFRS or US GAAP committees or AICPA or, UK ACCA as well as Indian ICI is all slowly and gradually have started working together to making a single reporting framework over the period of time. So I'm sure in this domain or in this region also we'll see a lot of traction and a lot of improvements and a lot of new works would be coming in this transition phase to all of us. That can be the future which we can think about it. That can be the future where we can play a critical role about it. Then after, if you say in 2015 onward, when most of the big companies have set up their offshore center, a lot of accounting, auditing, tax, transaction advisory, M&A work over here, many of us who are running the mid-size, small-size chartered accountant firm, have also started thinking how we can expand our business to this global world and how we can be the part of this bigger pie. And you won't believe it, in 2015 to 25, where we are sitting currently, we have more than 1,900 GCCs over here. And you won't believe it, majority of them are being run by chartered accountants. So we all should be proud on, accepting and adopting those change, right? So we are the change maker. Right now, the thing is how, we take the things to forward in future, right? Future is going to be very different because with the new technologies which are coming into the place or with the new era which is emerging, especially in Trump 2.0, right? I just wanted to bring that also in our attention. It's an alarming stage. To be very honest with you, if you see how you start your day, in morning, like when I wake up, I just start looking at my phone, right? It may be an iOS phone, it may be an Android phone, right? But we look at our phone. What we look at in phone, either the WhatsApp, right, or the Facebook, or the Instagram, or the LinkedIn, right? What all chats we have throughout the night, and we start responding to it. Then after, most of us will start for the office, right? In office, we have all the laptops, whether it's HP, Lenovo, Dell, Apple, Acer, right? And all the laptops throughout the day, what all things we are working on? We are using Google, right? I'm sure all of you are using Google. All of us have started using ChatGPT, right? All of us, like be on LinkedIn. Some of you are like people like me who has to be on the ground, so use Instagram also, right, for the marketing, branding, and all those stuff. And we use, like the YouTube, we use Amazon Prime, Flipkart, and all such services which we are using, they all are US-based company, right? Have you ever thought about it? How much we are being dependent on them? But that's not the right state where we should be as a country, right? That is the next change probably I wanted to bring into your attention, that we all need to think about it, like why we cannot be a creator. Why the world should always think chartered accountant to be a compliance metrics. Why the world always think about chartered accountant, about the numbers, profit and loss, balance sheet, compliance, taxes. Like start thinking about unconventional route. That's the future. To be very honest, like we are very good at number, we are good at very compliance, we are good at, like all the regulatory requirements. But if we build the capabilities, or if we tie up or partner with the tech, that is the future I foresee as an innovator, as a creative thinker for the chartered accountant domain, and especially for the GCC. Like we were already discussing, like back in 2000 when they came up for the cost, right? All the Western world have came up for the cost. Then they stick to quality. But next era, when you think about agentic AI, when you think about generative AI, when you think about robotic process solution, when you think about like the machine learnings, when you think about bots, where do you think we stand? That is the question, or that is something take away for each one of us from this session, which I wanted to bring into your knowledge. There are problems, but at the same time, the creative thinker or innovator have generally in the world have come up with a solid solution. That solution we need to create. Yeah? I can share some of it. Maybe any of you be interested in it, right? Because Gujarat is a city of entrepreneurs, right? So I can foresee, like a couple of you may think about in this direction to create something differently, something innovative, something new to the GCC world, right? It can be the usage of generative AI in accounting. I'm sure, like many of us have never thought about it, but you won't believe it, this monster which we are thinking about, generative AI, can be effectively utilized if we put in the right way, right? The important thing is that creative thinking. Being an accountant, we always think about preparing balance sheet, income statement, cash flow statement, notes to accounts, tax return, GST return, and all those things. Now it's a time to think beyond. The thing beyond how we can use this monster to save the time, to save the energy, to create the wealth, right? We always be a great wealth management people, right? Now it's time for us to create our own wealth, right? How we can create our own wealth through the solution which world can accept it. That is the idea of like setting up this GCC summit, that we think differently. We come up with some solution which can be accepted by the world. Why all the Google, why all the Microsoft, why all the Big techs which we are thinking about, which we are using about, is always coming from West. Now it's time for us to create something. And being a chartered accountant, to be very honest, we evaluate the things very critically, right? And we have those knowledges, but we work as an advisor most of the time. If we utilize those advices and start thinking differently and start working in something of creating our own, that is the real GCC summit outcome, I believe so. Right, so I'll share some of my thoughts. You can think about in that direction. If you would love to create something in that direction, I'll be the first partner with you, or I'll be the first investor working with you. Like I think about, like AI for accounting, like how accounting can be automated. Just think about the bigger or larger picture from the worldwide. How many big companies or big organizations are using accounting? They all are, majority of them are using SAP, Oracle, NetSuite, QuickBook, right? They all are coming from the West, right? We created Tele, but you won't believe it, most of the, or majority of the investor is again from West, right? At the end, they are controlling in it. But now it's time to create something to automate the accounting that directly capture all the information from invoices, from the bills, from the receipt, from the reconciliation, from the bank statement, and do the automation in accounting. That is something doable. To be very honest, all the thoughts which I'm sharing with you for the chartered accountant is all doable, but we need to think thoroughly to it. We need to sit and create a roadmap to it, and we need to stick to the implementation of those plans. Second, AI-driven real-time audit tool. So, like none of us have ever think, like a couple of years back when this data analytics tool have came, right? Majority of the audit firms and majority of you nowadays might be using the data analytics tools, right? So data analytics tools for auditing, what exactly it do? It take all the data from the client, right, put into the system and extract the all desired report, which you can use as an information in taking up the decision, whether at the beginning for the risk assessment, whether during the audit for all the analytical procedure, or at the conclusion of the audit as an overall analytical procedure, or reviewing all the trends, all the dashboards, and all the, you can say, possible outcomes from those data analytics. But before that, have you ever thought about these big companies like, like the banks, maybe SBI, maybe ICI, maybe HDFC, or maybe all the big companies, how this big data, as an auditor, we can do sampling? We never thought about it, right? But the data analytics tools which has came has helped us doing and analyzing all the big data. Same way, I would say, if we can create something that AI-driven audit tool that helps in sanitize and evaluating the entire data, or it can be a real-time audit. So that may be a great time saver for the world. That may be a great time saver for the organization. That may give the early warnings to the companies for any non-compliance or potential non-compliance. And we can add predictive analysis to it. We can add recommendation engine to it, right? Next thing which is coming in my mind is generative AI based on global tax compliance. Like most of the countries have double tax avoidance agreement, we know, the tax treaties. But there is no single framework which have all the treaties into it. That's a bigger area if you think about, and a big billion areas which you think about how we can consolidate all the treaty and create a one generative AI-based tax compliance platform, right? And another thing which came in my mind is more about AI-powered dispute resolution system. Right? Recently, Institute of Chartered Accountants has come up with this dispute resolution, like the programs and committee as well. Right? If you think about income tax, how many cases are being there? How we can create a tool that can simplify those dispute resolution? How we can create agentic AI to resolve those issues, how we can use this generative AI along with agentic AI and LLM with NLPs to create a dispute resolution mechanism. Those are the certain areas which are the big things we can create. And people have started using agentic AI in sales. People have started using agentic AI in customer care. Have you ever thought of creating any AI advisor, right? That is something, an area which can change the entire dynamic of GCC if any one of you have created an AI advisor and provided services to all the GCCs out there, right? It's not only for creating a GCC. We can be the enabler for the GCC. We can create some tools that can be plugged in to the GCC and can provide a great value addition to the GCC. And then, one more thought which is coming in my mind is the smart gap translator. Like Sir was earlier thinking, we have Ind AS, we have IFRS, we have US GAAP, and a couple of other accounting standards, codifications, and the accounting standard. Right? How we, as a chartered accountant, can create a smart gap translator. That means, then a click of button, you can think about creating a complete financial statement in US GAAP from the same accounts, creating a complete financial statement of IFRS compliance, or creating the same financial statement from the Ind AS perspective just by a click of button. So those are the area I just thought to bring into your notice. Those are the real change or the transformative change. Being, again, I sum up my discussion or sum up my thought. Being a creator, being an innovator, I think of creating something for the betterment of profession and the betterment of the world. And my request to each one of you to just think in that direction. Being in Gujarat, it's being, I feel it's one of the best place, and I'm glad the Institute of Chartered Accountant has invited me to share my thoughts in this direction, and I'm really excited, and I'm really thoughtful and known that some of you might be giving a thought in that direction and create something new in this new era of technology and commercial. We all are solid in commercial. We need to join the hands with the technology, coming up with this all new technology, whether it's AI, generative AI, agentic AI, robotic process solution, LLM, NLP, and all those things. It's not difficult, to be very honest. We all can learn. Luckily, I also learned in last couple of years only. But you can also partner with some tech people, and we can create some great solution for all the GCCs of future, right? Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for patiently listening to me, and I hope my thoughts are informative and helpful to each one of you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Kamal sir, for touching upon various aspects on technology and GCC future. Now I request respected CA CITY-GANDHINAGAR sir, CCM from Central Region, to please give a vote of thanks. Have a big round of applause for CITY-GANDHINAGAR sir.
Thank you so much, Sameer ji. On the dais, two distinguished speakers, Jangoo Dalal sir and Kamal Chhabra sir, my council colleague, CA Vishal Doshi ji, CA Neero Agrawal ji, chairman of the branch, respected council members of the dais, and of course all the participants, good morning to one and all. It's indeed a great privilege for me that I am proposing this first session's vote of thanks. And when it comes to GCC, it's just one word ahead to me. I am GC, this GCC. So, friends, the next C is about the credential and capacity, what the chartered accountants needs to build. And now the time has come when a country like India, which is prospering at the best growth rate across the globe, it's now a great responsibility on us that we should come out of box from the books of accounts. And we should think global, and we should think how our contribution could be beyond the audit and taxation. And probably that's how this wonderful session for 2 days have been devised. Very carefully and very scientifically, all the topics have been chosen, and start has been very good. We have witnessed that both the speakers have told how to move ahead. Like Jangoo sir has given two very important things, that this is the time of the chartered accountants to go in GCC, and beyond financials. We should think beyond financials, like ESG and other areas which needs to be explored. Using of artificial intelligence, well said by another speaker, Chhabra ji, is the future of the profession. And so, it's time that we should embrace the newer versions of the practice, and we must ensure that the contribution of the professionals of the chartered accountancy profession should be in the mainstream. Other than this, being the council member of the institute, I would like to say two more important things. How many of you know about the aggregation of the firms? Can you raise the hands? I can see few of the hands are here. But friends, there is one very important committee in the institute, aggregation of the CA firms. See, whatever we are discussing today, probably this will not come into the picture practically until unless we have a good team. And for having a good team, we must aggregate now. Government is looking that India should have big four like chartered accountancy firms. How that is going to be done, I am sure about it. Until unless aggregation is done, that is not possible. So, to come to the GCC, first we need to aggregate, merge, have a good team, have good technology. Then only we can think over that we can go for a global level event like GCC. I will not take much time. I understand the paucity of the time because other session is lined up. I am so much thankful to the organizing committee, especially Abhay Bhai, Sanjeev Bhai, and my good friend from Ahmedabad, C.A. Purushottam Khandelwal. I can't see him in his absence here. And of course, Chairman sir, who is smiling, Jai Bhai, and of course, all the Gujarat council members. They have done tremendous hard work to organize such a wonderful this conference. And I'm sure that this is going to be beneficial to all of us, and we shall take the legacy of the institute towards the redeveloped Bharat. Thank you very much for patient listening.